Heading into tomorrow night's debate, could this be the week that makes or breaks Governor Perry? He jumped into the fray with great fanfare and then quickly committed a series of gaffes, which leaves him looking up at Mitt Romney in the polls. That may explain this new ad from Perry, which claims Romney is not much of a change from President Obama. Watch.
Time and again, the White House has pointed to the Massachusetts law as the model for Obamacare.
I agree with Mitt Romney. He's right.
Jimmy Carter is throwing his weight behind Mitt Romney.
Those who follow the path that we pursued will find us the best path. I like mandates.
In my book, I said no such thing. I stand by what I wrote.
Shira Toeplitz covers politics for Roll Call, and she joins us now live from Washington. Shira, it's nice to see you. As you watch that and hear that, what is your reaction to the ad?
Well, first of all, I think it's a very good ad. It's definitely the slickest, probably most professional campaign ad we've seen so far this cycle. And I think it's also meant, in terms of Perry standing in the race, to put him at the forefront of the discussion. He wants to be knocked back up to that first tier again, which he's really fell from in the last several weeks.
What does Perry need to do tomorrow when we speak of the debate? Is it all going to be about going forward, not making any mistakes, strong showing, maybe not talking as much as he should?
Well, I think Perry has one thing going for him going into the debates this week, and that's that expectations are extremely low. Given his performance in Florida a couple weeks ago at that debate and how inarticulate he was then, voters don't really have a high opinion of his speaking abilities. So what he has to do is he has to do well. Hopefully for his campaign, I'm sure he wants it to be the best debate performance of his presidential campaign, but really he has to just do as well as he did perhaps in the first debate, and certainly much better than he did in the debate in Florida.
Sure, someone else who gets the spotlight and does so pretty well is Herman Cain. That star is on the rise, been so for a couple of weeks. He continues to say things, though, that do bring him a lot of attention, most recently claiming that the Occupy Wall Street protesters are, quote, playing the victim card. Is that, in your estimation, just throwing red meat to the base?
I think it's throwing red meat to certain parts of the base. Let's also remember that Herman Cain is a businessman. He is a CEO and a wealthy one at that, at Godfather's Pizza. So in many ways he has a little bit in common with some of these businessmen on Wall Street, that the protesters are, well, protesting.
I want to talk about Michelle Bachmann while we have you here. This was what she had to say on another network this weekend in an interview.
It appears that your campaign is imploding. Why has there been such a downfall in the national polls as well as in the state polls for you?
Well, that your assessment is completely inaccurate. It's not true at all.
Do you think that the assessment is accurate, since you've had a lot of top people from the campaign that have either jumped off the bus or returned to their original jobs with their Congress camp on the Hill?
Well, I get why she's not going to admit in a live interview that her campaign is imploding, all right? That would not be a very good idea. But look, the writing's on the wall, very much so. You mentioned her campaign staff turnover. We haven't heard of her fundraising numbers yet, which is probably a hint they're not very good. Polling shows her absolutely dropping and bottoming out in a lot of these early states. I mean, her campaign, for all intents and purposes, is imploding.
Shira Toeplitz from Roll Call. Good to see you this afternoon, Shira. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, an Arab